Okay, so this is probably the dedupe tool I would use. It's pretty quick and easy. Um, not a lot of features, but a lot of functionality for what's there. And you can sort of run it and then sort of forget about it or uninstall it and then reinstall it when you want to run it again. So it's not a bad little dedupe tool. So I'll put this link in the actual comment to the video, and I'll also email it to you when I email you. So it's Dupe-Clear, and it's linked to this GitHub page. And if you scroll down, there's a little picture of the web interface and stuff like that. What you want here is partway down this Releases tab. Click on Releases. We're going to take the current one here, the 3.1. There's two options here. There's a setup executable program, so you can download this, double click it, and it'll install it on your computer, and then you can uninstall it later if you want. There's also this option here, which downloads a version that you can just run after you do an extraction. So for simplicity, we'll pick this one for now. And if you're not interested in doing the install, let me know and we can go through this here. For now, pick this one, the setup.exe. I'm going to download it. I'm going to find my downloads folder. And in my downloads folder, I now have this Dupe-Clear setup program. Run that. Pop up, they want to install it for everyone or just myself. I'm just going to say just for me. Brings up the public license. This is open source free software. Say so, accept the agreement, say next. Where do I want to install it? In my case, I'm going to install it to a different drive. Actually, you know what? I'll just install it to the default location. Say next. Menu item. Shortcut and go. If you don't have the right version of a couple of prereqs, it'll do an install on those. In my case, they were already on and just did the install. I get a launch now. Somewhere in here, I get on the screen. I'm going to actually minimize this. This is the window here. So I've got locations, exclusions, and searches. So if I wanted to search a particular location, I could do an add folder here. And if I just pick documents, for example, it's going to search my documents. Now this is just doing a search. It's not doing anything destructive at this point. Just want to make sure my recording is still running. Yeah. It's not going to do anything destructive. So I'm going to use these default settings, and I've selected users.spend documents and say start, and it's going to scan my documents folder and look for duplicates. So it found duplicates and some errors accessing some files. Searched 7,000 files or 6,700 in that amount of time. Found 386 dupes, and removing the duplicates would save me 186 megs. So not a whole lot of saving, but some. So take a look at some of the dupes that it found here. In this case, it found marks.txt and basemarks.txt as the same file, created a few moments apart, and it's offered or automatically selected the oldest one. Here, these are picture files from GIMP. Let's find another one here. These two pictures. So you can see these are a couple of pictures, something I was working on. I grabbed a picture, copied the file twice. You can see the preview here is not changing. Different file names, different, but the same picture. And it's automatically selected the older of the two. If we drag this out here, see the locations. In this case, they're all in the same folder. Here's one that's not. So it searched a subfolder. I said search documents, and it searched documents. Then it went into GC Video Studios, and here it found a duplicate PDF, and it selected the older one by default here. Different files, different creation dates. I copied it, and depending on how I copied it, it got stamped with that new date and time. But these are the same file. So it's gone through and done that. It's automatically selected the old one, and if there's multiples, do I have one that has 3? Yeah, like this one here. Base color is part of a image set that I use in gaming process. You can see that it's occurred multiple times. In between occurrences, so this one, there's 2 copies of this ears.obj, but in this, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 copies of stylized fur, and it's offering to delete all of them but this newest one. Now, the caveat here, of course, would be that in my case, I use this particular model or file several times, and if I would expand this out, we would see that it's in different parts of different projects. So I may or may not want. It helps to understand what these are. I want to delete the duplicates because if I delete this file from this particular folder and then I go to use the other assets that aren't duplicated in this folder and they require this file, then that part's not. Careful about just randomly deleting stuff. Now, let's go look at a different one. So that's in search results. If I wanted to exclude files, I could say don't search, and here they have some default like don't search for DLL files and stuff, which are part of programs or exe the programs themselves. So locations, I'm going to add a folder here, and let's just go to D drive and let's pick a couple of folders here. 2 here I wanted to use as a sample if I can find them. Picks to add, and I'm just going to control click and pick picks from disk. Select those 2 folders. I'm going to uncheck this one for the moment. And now I've got picks to add folder and picks from disk folder selected. And I'm going to leave the exclusions the same. I'm going to hit start. It's going to warn me that, hey, you're going to lose your other search results. That's fine. Now it's searched those 2 folders and compared all the files in those 2 folders, found 99 duplicate files that are going to save me 230 megs of space if I remove the duplicates. So then if I look at these, you can see in this case, here's a picture. This is from the ball team from 2001, and it's in the new folder, and this one is in same picture in new folder too. Come down here. I don't know if I have any 3s in here. These all look like just dupes of 2. So it's gone through and identified those. So you can actually do little sections of your drive in this process. And if I go back to locations, I could even add this one, do a scan, and then if I've copied any of those pictures or any commonality between those folders, it's now checking everything in documents and its subfolders and those other 2 folders, and it now has 417 duplicate files. I'm going to say OK, and then if we look at what I want to find is a special case here where I might have one that has something duplicated across the 2 drive locations. Not seeing one. I guess I could manually put one there. But I could, if there was a file that was a duplicate in both the D pictures folder, both of the D picture folders and or the C, it would show up in here duplicated as well, and then I can choose which one. So I think doing it this way, you could, pick and choose parts of your drive and then take a bigger piece. So maybe once you've deduplicated say the pictures folder, you might choose to include the D drive or something like that. Like in my case, I got multiple drives. So I wouldn't start at the top of your volume at the C drive and do everything. I would start in subfolders. So in my case, if I wanted to add a folder location instead of doing all the documents, if I had a big documents folder, I could pick the audio to log dump, pick these ones, say select folders. They're all selected here. It's deselected the others. And then if I do a start, it's only going to scan these ones, subfolders. See down here, it's giving you an estimate. Sorry, this is doing on my D drive, so it's doing a big search here. really big. So it's a pretty cool tool for what it is. It's free, it's open source, and it's going to do a decent job. Be careful of which files you delete. If you have a decent backup, you can start to do a decent backup, do your file deduplication, and then do a new backup. So you've got a backup before you deleted your files, and then clean it up, and you've got the version that's cleaned. I'm not going to wait for this to finish. I accidentally included this Epic Games folder, which is a development folder where I do some of my teaching from, and it's very large. See, it's going to take, well, it's down to 38 minutes now to index this file. So depending on your computer and the size, what's going to happen is the more files that you tell it to search through, the longer this time is going to be. So you can do it in chunks of your drive, and then as you get pieces cleaned up, you can start to include those into bigger pieces because you might do this subfolder and this subfolder individually and all their subfolders, clean them up, and then when you scan this one and this one together, you may still find some overlap in them. Have a look at this tool. I'll put the link in the email message and I'll put it in the bottom of the video here.